Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai,
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva.
Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva.
Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe.
Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha.
Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe.
Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radha.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for the lovely Kirtan and tune, a tune which can go on and on and on. And of course, the Mahamantra can go on and on. Thank you very much. Today, welcome Rashmi, not Rashmi, Varshana Kishori Mataji. Ben, welcome. Nice to see you back. Chayanti Bai, welcome. Samir Dharm, welcome and thank you for the recording. And welcome Pandava Prabhu and Bhagavati Mataji. Hare Krishna, welcome to our lockdown program here on Wednesday, the 11th of the 11th. So, Hare Krishna, I hope you're all well and happy. And your Krishna consciousness is progressing. Everyone's Krishna consciousness is progressing. Your rounds are going well and everything else is going well. Devotees are well wishers of everyone, so we wish everybody well. Hare Krishna. We'll look at Srimad Bhagavatam, the Amala Purana. A link is already in the chat right now. We're coming actually to the 9th shloka. To the 9th shloka we come of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 119. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatra Tatrancha Sayushman Bhavata Yat Vinishchitam Pumsam Ekantata Shreyas Tanna Shamsitum Arhasi. Srimad Bhagavatam 119, translation. Ben, you want to read the translation and the purport? That would be nice. 119. Are you there, Ben?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you well?
Yeah, it just takes a moment to
Get the mic going.
get everything going.
Yes. Are you well?
Not really. No.
But still you're here. Thank you very much for that. So, translation and purport.
Okay. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of the Acharya is recommended. The Acharyas and the Goswamis are always absorbed in thoughts of the well-being of the general public, especially their spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being is automatically followed by material well-being. The Acharyas, therefore, give directions in the spiritual well-being for people in general. Foreseeing the incompetencies of the people in this age of Kali, or the iron age of quarrel, the sages requested that Sutta Goswami give a summary of all revealed scriptures, because the people of this age are condemned in every respect. The sages, therefore, inquired of the absolute good, which is the ultimate good for the people. The condemned state of affairs of the people of this age is described as follows.
Okay, thank you very much. Beautiful verse, beautiful purport. Say asking, of course, Sutta Goswami. Who is Sutta Goswami again? Anyone? Vaishnav Mataji, who is Sutta Goswami? Vaishnav Mataji, you there? Bhagavati Mataji, who is Sutta Goswami?
Sutta Goswami, Sutta Goswami was present during the seventh day of recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam to King Parikshit, and now he is responding to Shaunaka Rishi at the assembly of the sages.
Yes, that is
Correct.
the framework. Yes. Do we know? I do believe somewhere it is mentioned who is a father of Sutta Goswami. I'm not sure.
Father.
Anyone?
I'm
No?
not sure either.
It is not Ramaharshan. Or is it?
We'll have to find out.
I'm sure it will
But
be discussed. Yeah.
yeah, it will come up. But the small detail in that assembly, there were, I think, 60,000 sages.
60. Yes.
60,000.
No, that's quite a number. Huh?
That's that many. I recently I was listening to one of the lectures, and it was mentioned about that. So this may raise the question how they could hear one speaker.
Amplification.
So of course it's not explained, but probably those days they had better sound amplification or voices.
They had better ears. I mean, these sages are very advanced sages. They are not ordinary human beings. They can hear. If Sanjaya could hear, then why can't these sages not hear? That is my thinking. We just got a message through from Dharm, who seemed to have confirmed that the Ramaharshan Sutta is the father of Sutta Goswami. Thank you, Dharm. Hare Krishna, very well observed. Very good. So, do we have any, what I found significant, here one point came to mind. When spiritual well-being is there, then material well-being is automatically achieved. That is beautiful, because people striving for material well-being, and people even sometimes think, if I engage in spiritual life, I neglecting my material well-being. So they don't understand that spiritual well-being automatically material well-being is included. And it's true. It's not just a statement. It is definitely a fact. Rashmi Mataji, oh, thank you. We're waiting for you for a long time. Never mind, you are here. That is very good. We just made a point of saying here Srimad Bhagavatam is just putting forward Srila Prabhupada. If spiritual well-being is achieved, material well-being is automatically achieved, which is nice.
Which verses are we on, Prabhuji?
It's in the chat area 119.
119, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other question to that shloka? Or shall we move on to the 10th shloka? Okay, let's move on. 1110. Rashmi Mataji, you want to read that? Sanskrit included. Not that easy, but it's okay.
Can I do the next one, Prabhuji? Because in the meantime, I will read the previous one which I missed whilst I was not here.
How can you read the previous one when we discuss?
I will quickly read it. It's very short. I will quickly read it.
Oh, so you, with one ear you do the previous one, the other ear you hear the, well, you're very advanced. Huh? one mind, half of the brain, half of the mind is on the previous verse, and the other one listen to. I mean, if you want to catch up the previous verse, then by the next verse you have to catch up this verse. You will always behind one. Okay. So you want to read that verse, Rashmi?
Okay, I will read it.
Yes. I convinced him.
I'll read it later on. So, प्रायेणल्पयुषा सभ्याः
Can you do that again?
प्राणेल्याशु
Prayena.
प्राणेनाल्याप्याशु
Alpayashu. Apalyasha.
Payusha. Payusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi padruye.
Bhagya Yupadrutya. Yeah.
Manda bhagya hi padruta.
Translation.
O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, many have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. The devotees of the devotees of the Lord are always anxious for the spiritual improvement of the general public. When the sages of Naimisharanya analyzed the state of affairs of the people in this age of Kali, they foresaw that men would live short lives. In Kali Yuga, the duration of life is shortened not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. By keeping regular habits and simple simple food, any man can maintain his health. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, duration of life is shortened. The people of this age are also very lazy, not only materially but in the matter of self realization. The human life is specially meant for self realization. That is to say, man should come to know what he is, what the world is, what the supreme truth is. Human life is a means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of the hard struggle for life in material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. But due to a bad system of education, men have no desire for self-realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victim of misguided teachers. In this age, men are victims not only of different political creeds and parties, but also of many different types of sense gratificatory diversions, such as cinema, sports, gambling, club, mundane libraries, bad association, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickering, so on. Their minds are always disturbed and full of anxieties due to so many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous men manufacture their own religious faiths which are not based on any revealed scriptures. And very often, people who are addicted to sense gratification are attracted by such institutions. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried on that the people in general have neither peace of mind nor health of body. The student brahmachari communities are no longer being maintained, and householders do not observe the rules and regulations of the grihastha ashram. Consequently, the so-called vanaprasthas and sannyasis who come out of such grihastha ashrams are easily deviated from the rigid path. In the Kali Yuga, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with faithlessness. Men are no longer interested in spiritual values. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. For the maintenance of such material civilization, man has formed complex nations and communities, and there is a constant strain of hot and cold wars between these different groups. It has become very difficult, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard due to the present distorted values of human society. The sages of Naimisharanya are anxious to disentangle all fallen souls, and here they are seeking the remedy from Srila Sutta Goswami.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
amazing. It's amazing how Srila Prabhupada must have done this translation maybe in 1970s. I'm guessing this commentary he must have written, and how he has so aptly, that time so much of strife was not there in human society. At least in India, that much strife was not there. It was not such a materialistic society. But how he could foresee it all coming. And he's given such a, it feels as though he's there now and he's talking about what is going on now.
That is actually a good question. How could Srila Prabhupada foresee what is happening now? Who can answer that? Samir, what do you think?
I don't think it was a question, Prabhuji. I think it was an observation.
Yes,
He was
but my
saying
question is how Srila Prabhupada could foresee. Rashmi gave one explanation he must have written that in 1970. That needs to be confirmed. I don't know when the Bhagavatam was written or this canto was written. I think Srila Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavatam, the first canto, already in India, I believe so. So, are there any other explanation? How could Srila Prabhupada foresee what is the situation? Because in his purport he described it so clearly. as Rashmi noted. So what do you say, Sami?
He could see because obviously Prabhupada was a pure devotee, and also the Lord was speaking to him as well directly. So my explanation is twofold, because he is pure devotee and also because the Lord was speaking through him.
Okay, thank you. Pandava Prabhu Bhagavati Mataji, there's a hand up. What do you say?
As far as I remember, once Srila Prabhupada said that actually this is Krishna who is writing these books. So we shouldn't really see the great work by Prabhupada of translating and writing the books as normal, as a work of kind of every writer or interlocutor, but rather as a Krishna was using Srila Prabhupada as his tool, let's say, to give the message of absolute truth to the world. So
Thank you. Very nicely put. Yes. Very nicely put.
If I can also few.
Yes.
As far as I know, Srila Prabhupada wrote first canto in India, in Vrindavan. So he wrote it while being in India. So he didn't see yet, let's say, America and the actual fallen state of materialistic life. And another, I think, hint would be that those characteristics of the fallen humanity are given in 12th canto. So that's another thing.
Hare
because
Krishna.
there are predictions of Kali Yuga.
Yes, I was
Of course,
trying
Prabhupada
to get to that.
knew
Yes.
12th canto, and of course he was also dictated by Krishna too. So.
Yes, absolutely. That was actually the point I wanted to get to, even though all the other points and Zamir and Rashmi said are certainly true. But yes, these things are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we only look and read these verses up till 1 until 9, then it appears like, how would Prabhupada know? Yes, of course, with Samir and Bhagavati Mataji through the heart, and certainly Srila Prabhupada didn't write this book. Srila Prabhupada's is Bhaktivedanta Purpose and deep meditation that is dictated by Krishna. And that's all true, but it's also true, as Pandava Prabhu says, these things are all, and as we go on reading the Bhagavatam, these are all predicted, not only in 1970s, these things are predicted 5,000 years ago. What's the state of Kali Yuga? And much, much more detail of what will happen later on in Kali Yuga. We are just at the beginning. It's going to get much more worse. That's nothing. We think COVID and lockdown and that is so bad. Oh, that's nothing. There's much more to come. So we should try to get out of here. Okay, you can put your hand down, Bhagavati Mataji. You must get tired. Hare Krishna. Just click that button again. Yes. So, any more question or comment on this text, or shall we move on? Let's move on to the next shloka, shloka 11. Samir, you want to tackle that?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Take it slow. Let's get the Sanskrit more or less right.
getting to the page. 1 second. Happy Ekadashi to everyone as well. Okay, so Purini Buri Karmani Srotavyani Vibhagasya Atta Sado Trayat Saram Samudrita Manisaya Ruhi Pratya
Patra,
Bhutanam
Patra.
Ruhi Patraya Bhutanam Yanatma Suprasidati.
Good.
Translation as Divine Grace Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied. Purport. Atma or self is distinguished from matter and material elements. It is spiritual in constitution, and thus it is never satisfied by any amount of material planning. All scriptures and spiritual instructions are meant for the satisfaction of the self, or Atma. There are many varieties of approaches which are recommended for different types of living beings in different times and at different places. Consequently, the numbers of revealed scriptures are innumerable. There are different methods and prescribed duties recommended in these various scriptures, taking into consideration the fallen condition of the people in general in this age of Kali. The sages of Naimisharana suggest that Sri Sutta Goswami relate the essence of all such scriptures, because in this age it is not possible for the fallen souls to understand and undergo all the lessons of all these various scriptures in a Varna or Ashram system. The Varna or Ashram system was considered to be the best institution for lifting the human being to the spiritual platform. But due to Kali Yuga, it is not possible to execute the rules and regulations of these institutions, nor is it possible for the people in general to completely savor relationships with their families as the Varnashram Institute prescribes. The whole atmosphere is surcharged with opposition, and considering this, one can see that the spiritual emancipation for the common man in this age is very difficult. The reason the sages presented this matter to Sri Sutta Goswami is explained in the following verses.
Thank you very much, Samir. To question, to mind comes, Srila Prabhupada speaks of severing relations with family members in the Varnashram system. What is he speaking about, Varshana Mataji?
I don't really know. It was basically just letting go of personal relationships and looking towards God, really, isn't it? The more you progress spiritually, automatically your material connections die down a little bit, don't they?
Are you saying as we progressing spiritually, we will not have any, we will neglect our families? Are we saying that?
Not to
Husband
neglect.
and wife will suddenly neglect.
I meant the attachments.
The attachments, okay.
You grow to, you become stronger, more faith and spiritually strong. That
But
automatically all these desires would go, isn't it?
Yes. But here Srila Prabhupada speaks not of severing attachments. He speaks of completely sever relations with their families. What is he speaking about? Anyone else?
Somebody who goes to sannyas or something. Especially
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're speaking here of the Varnashram system. Sannyas has to sever the relationship with his family. Yes, of course. Anyone else has to sever his relationships? Sannyas? Anyone else?
Even vanaprastha, isn't it?
Yes. Vanaprastha and sannyas. They will cut off relationships slowly in the Vanaprastha. Slowly. So really, we're speaking about sannyas, several relationships. A sannyasi cannot see his family after he has taken sannyas. Lord Chaitanya gave an example. He just, when he took sannyas, he just saw his mother once more, but not his wife. So, any other questions to that shloka? Any comments? From the purport or from the verse? Interesting to note, Varnashram system is considered to be able to lift human beings to the spiritual platform. That was the idea, but in this Kali Yuga, it is not possible anymore to execute the rules and regulations of these institutions. So we will hear certainly more about that. If there are no questions, let's move on to the next shloka. Varshana Mataji, want to tackle that? That is 12, verse 12.
Okay, I will try. Just go back. Oops, now I have to go back. Sorry, I've just got to get
12.
to the 12th, 10th, oops, 11, and 12. Right. Sutta Janasi Badram Te Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikirshaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. Purport. Bhagavan means the Almighty God, who is the controller of all opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is especially inclined to his devotees. Sat means the absolute truth, and persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called sattvatas. And the personality of Godhead, who protects such pure devotees, is known as the protector of the sattvatas. Bhadram te, or blessings upon you, indicates the sage's anxiety to know the absolute truth from the speaker. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the symbol of the transcendental position wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place.
Any questions or comments? Anyone? So I'll ask a question. At the end of the purport, Vasudeva is a symbol of the transcendental position, wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place. What does that mean? Rashmi, what do you think? Vashana, you can mute your microphone again.
Sure.
Rashmi, what could that mean? Vasudeva is a symbol of the transcendental position, wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place.
I didn't understand that, Prabhuji.
Therefore I'm asking. Okay, Samir?
Does that mean where, because obviously the Lord made his appearance through Vasudeva and Devaki, so isn't what that means there, where the Lord has
That is
actually...
my thinking as well. How did the Lord appear to Vasudeva?
How did he appear?
Yes. He first appeared, not to Devaki, he first appeared to Vasudeva. How? Where? In which way?
Oh, he appeared in the thoughts, in his thoughts first.
Yes, in the mind. I think it is mentioned in the mind of Vasudeva. Now, that sounds very much like what we readings is a symbol of transcendental position. Yes, of course, that must be. If Krishna is appearing in one's mind, that's a transcendental position, wherein the Lord's appearance takes place. The appearance took place, first of all, in the mind of Vasudeva. Then he was transferred to the heart of Devaki. So these things are quite significant. Anything else? Or anyone has a different take? Ben or Pandava Prabhu, Bhagavati Mataji, or anyone? Ben?
Vasudeva is also it's a state of consciousness.
Yes.
It's God's consciousness. God's consciousness is in the Vasudeva state. It is transcendental to the modes. It's called the Vasudeva state. It's like sattva, pure sattva gun.
Yes.
So it's a state of consciousness as well.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada speaks of Vasudeva stage.
It's a state of consciousness. And I understand it to be God's, that's the level of consciousness, that God is, his consciousness is in the Vasudeva state. So, for instance, a pure devotee, he attains this state of consciousness as well. It's called the Vasudeva consciousness.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's great. Where else do we encounter Vasudeva? I mean, here we encounter Vasudeva as in the prison with Devaki, husband of Devaki. Krishna appeared first in his mind. Then Ben just mentioned the Vasudeva, the transcendental stage. Where else do we encounter Vasudeva? Any takes?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yes.
But who this was vibrated by Dhruva Maharaj.
Which Om Namo Bhagavate was it?
Yeah.
Yes or not?
I
Yes.
don't know.
Correctly?
Yes, who
Yes.
says yes?
Yes,
Rashmi.
this was the mantra given to Dhruva Maharaj by Narad.
Beautiful. Ben?
No, I was going to say about Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya, the compiler of the Vedas. Is
That is
Vasudeva.
different. Not Vasudev, that's Vyasadeva.
And then there's an expansion of Godhead. It's
Yes?
called Vasudeva as well.
Yes.
And it's,
What does a 4 quadruple? That I wanted to bring up. 4 quadruple expansions.
well, there's Aniruddha,
Aniruddha,
Vasudev,
Vasudev. Anyone? Pandava? Two missing.
So
Pradyumna?
this is
Yes.
Sankarshana, Vasudeva,
Sankarshan.
Pradyumna, Aniruddha.
Sankarshan. Yes, yes. These are the 4
So these
quadruple.
are for Chaturvyuha, yes, part
Yes.
of Vasudeva.
Yes, yes. Do we remember anyone where Vasudev in a Bhagavad Gita shloka? Probably more than one, but one for sure, a famous shloka. Anyone? Ben?
Arjuna, he calls Krishna Vasudeva sometimes, doesn't he?
Yes, but do we have any particular Bhagavad Gita shloka where Vasudev appears? Famous shloka. I'm sure everybody knows. Vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapatyate. Vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. Very famous. What's the translation? Bhagavad Gita scholars. Rashmi, what's the translation? Anyone with the translation? Yes? Rashmi?
No, Prabhuji.
No? Anyone with a translation of that? Bahunam Chanmanam Ante? Rashmi, from the Hindi you can. Bahunam Chanmanam. Ben. Ben first, then Zamir.
This is the famous verse that if anyone who knows the nature of my appearance and disappearance, while his birth and activities.
No, it's not that verse, no.
Bahunam Janmanamante means after many, many births.
Yes?
Finally, one person in full knowledge surrenders unto me.
Knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. What's that? Samir. Mahatma. Samir. What is Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha?
Sanaatma.
What's in a Mahatma?
Mahatma is a very rare soul.
Yes. Great soul. Very rare soul.
Rare is Durlabh. Mahatma does not mean rare. Mahatma means great soul.
Yes. And Durlabh means?
Durlabh means rare.
Yes. Very rare. Such a soul is very rare. Ben?
Very rare and very great.
Yes.
Oh, this word, I just wanted to say this word sama. Sama. Does that mean
No,
peace?
Sa. Mahatma. Sa.
Oh, I thought you said sama.
Yeah, no. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Vasudev, in that word-for-word transliteration, Srila Prabhupada translates the personality of Godhead, Krishna. So that verse we should definitely know. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. That is a verse especially for those who are after Gyan. They're trying to understand Krishna as a Gyanis. So they're trying and searching for Krishna in an intellectual way. And after many birth and death, they will also come to Krishna and then they will surrender, because they looked for Krishna really. They looked for the absolute truth, not Krishna really. But then once they find the absolute truth, they recognize that is Krishna, surrender to him, and know that Krishna is the cause of all causes. And such a soul is very rare. But Srila Prabhupada makes in this purport, he makes a point. Why, if we have to surrender, we all come to the point of surrendering to Krishna anyway. Why waiting for many births? Why not surrender now? Which is a very, very valid point. Why not surrender to Krishna now? Why carrying on and looking for Krishna and seeing things from the intellectual perspective and not really practicing Krishna consciousness, just hovering on the intellectual plane? Bhagavad Gita is a book to practice Krishna consciousness, not to read about Krishna consciousness. Yes, of course. But if we don't put it into practice, then we'll have to go for many births. We are sorry we have to leave now. Oh, we are also very sorry. That is not very nice. But it's already 8 o'clock and we will probably go a little bit more on. Okay, thank you for your association, Pandava Prabhu Bhagavati Mataji. It was wonderful to have you with us. And we'll see you on Saturday. Stay safe and Hare Krishna. And keep on with your beautiful kirtans. Never stop. Okay, Hare Krishna. So, okay, that is that verse. If anybody wants to look it up, Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Bahunam Chanmanam Ante. Shall we move on if there are no other questions? The next verse is number 13. Rashmi, back to you. Number 13.
तन्नः शुश्रूषामाननम् अर्हस्यङ्गानुवर्णितं यस्यवतरो भूतानं सेमाया च भवाया च. Translation. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous acharyas, masters. For one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. Purport. The conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the absolute truth are set forth herein. First condition is that the audience must be sincere, very sincere and eager to hear, and the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized acharya. The transcendental message of the absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Suta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Suta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, and the sages of Naimisharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Sri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, appearance, disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on, are all easily understandable because all requirements are fulfilled. Such discourses help all men on the path of spiritual realization.
Thank you. Yes. So, very important. What Bhagavad Gita verse comes to mind? That's the third time now that same verse comes up again and again. Anyone? Ben?
Is that the verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna tells Arjuna that this knowledge was received through the disciplic succession? The saintly kings understood it in that way.
That's not the word I'm thinking of.
It's evam parampaptam.
Evam parampara. No, not that. I mean, here's a point. Srila Prabhupada makes a point of eagerness to hear, of bona fide spiritual master, and inquiring sincerely.
Tadvidi pranipatena.
Ah, that's the one. That's the one. Sorry, Samir. Yes.
This one.
Do we know the verse? Tatviti pranipatene pariprashnena sevaya, and
Upadakshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina.
Yes, and the translation?
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master.
Inquire from him submissively.
Inquire from him submissively.
And render
service. Because the self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Yes.
Well, that verse comes to mind. That fits perfectly because we're speaking of the spiritual master, of course, in the disciplic succession. Inquire submissively, eager to hear, inquiring. So it's the sages of Naimisharanya, they're very, very eager to hear, and they're certainly submissive, and they very wonderfully put forward so many questions, not even for their own upliftment. Their questions are meant for the upliftment of all people in Kali Yuga, for the benefits. They were so eager. That's a sadhu. He is eager for everybody's benefit. For himself, he is not very anxious. And then, when these conditions are fulfilled, the exchange of transcendental knowledge takes place. So these are very important. Srila Prabhupada stresses here, very much so, these conditions, which were met perfectly at the assembly of the sages of Naimisharanya. Someone mentioned earlier 60,000 sages were present at the hearing of Naimisharanya. That was Pandava Prabhu. Yes, where else do we encounter 60,000 disciples? Anyone? Ben? Samir? Anyone? Ben?
The Varshi Muni, he had 60,000 disciples.
Which was the name of the Muni?
The Varshi.
Devarshi? No, Samir? Almost. Durvasa. Durvasa Muni. 60,000 disciples. So quite a lot of folks. So, any more question on that, or shall we move on? Or shall we take one more verse with a shortish purport, and then we do a bit of Kirtan. So 14. Ben, you want to take that on? Who would? Rashmi, you took the last one, right? Yeah. So Ben, 14.
Apana samsritim goram yannama vasho granam yata sadyo vimukyata yad vibeti svayam bayam. Translation. Living beings.
Just hold on a second. Samir, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think from your side there's a lot of noise, background noise. I don't know what. Yeah.
And anyone else has that also? Ben, you hear a lot of background noise from my side?
Not really, no.
So it may be, I can of course move my microphone a little bit away. Samir, is that better?
It's coming now. It's like it's raining or something, but
no, I think that is a computer. The ventilation could be. So let me move it even further away. It shouldn't pick it up now. Better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, Ben, go ahead.
Okay, translation. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Purport by His Divine Grace. Vasudeva, or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravana, Hiranyakasipu, Kamsa, and others, who were very powerful living entities, were all killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudeva has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. Everything related to him and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is none different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy names of the Lord, Sri Krishna, even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death.
Thank you very much. What is that called? Unconsciously uttering the name of the Lord. There's a term for it.
Namabhasa?
No, what is Namabhasya?
Namabhasya.
Ben, what is Namabhasya? Ben.
Oh, sorry, I was talking with my microphone off.
Yes,
No,
that happens.
Namabhasya is quite an elevated level of chanting the holy name of the Lord. So you wouldn't just chant Namabhasya unconsciously. You'd have to be on a specific level of advancement in devotional service.
Yes. Where does it fit in? Namabhasya, where that stage comes in. Shraddha, Satisanga.
Namabhasya is when you get through the lower stages of chanting the holy name, from the offensive chanting. I forgot what that's called again.
Namaparat.
When you get through this Namaparat stage, and you begin to glimpse, you get a glimpse or a glimmer or a dim reflection of the pure holy name. So it's a more elevated stage in the chanting of the holy name.
Yes, very nicely explained. Thank you. A dim glimmer. Hare Krishna. So, what is this unconscious chanting? Because Namabhasya is not unconscious, it's very conscious chanting. So, what's that unconscious chanting, Ben, again? What's it called? Srila Prabhupada mentions it at the end of the purport, and at the beginning he also.
No, I didn't put my hand up, but I do know that. I think I know the answer to this one.
Yes. What's
there's
that?
a kind of chanting. It's called unconsciously chanting. Is anyone who's not even aware of Krishna, that Krishna is God. So some people, they can say it in a joking way or just say it flippantly, but it's like because it's God's holy name, it's potent for anyone who chants the name. It's the same.
Absolutely.
And so whether we chant it seriously and knowing the potency of the holy names and the glories of the holy name, or we don't, it doesn't really matter. It still has effect, and that kind of chanting is like, say for instance, if you went on a Harinam and people in the street, they decided to join in or dance and start to chant. It's like a form called Agata Sukriti.
That's it, Agyata Sukriti.
It's like unknowingly chanting the holy name without any prior knowledge of how glorious the chanting of the holy name is.
Yes, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. That is mentioned here, and that's even mentioned in the verse itself, unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna. So that is important, that is powerful thing, unconsciously chanting, without knowing anything about the holy name really, and we get benefit, and that Agyata Sukriti, Sukriti is a credit, a pious credit. So that builds up and builds up, and we eventually, such a person will come to the proper conclusions, and it will take up Krishna consciousness. It may be after a few lifetimes, or it may be in this lifetime. Okay. Any more questions to that shloka? That is the 14th shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're moving quite ahead. If not, we'll do a little bit of Kirtan, 5 minutes, and we disband for tonight. It's not a Saturday, it's a Wednesday, so we go till 8:30 to the most. No other question? Okay, let's do a bit of Kirtan then. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Madhava Radhe Radha Madhava Madhava Radhe Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jayo Radha Londonishvara Radha Londonishvara Radhe Radha Londonishvara Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jayo Radha Gopinatha Gopinatha Radhe Radha Gopinatha Radhe Jayo Radha Govinda Radhe Jayo Radha Govinda Radhe Jayo Radha Ramana Radhe O Radha Ramana Radhe Jayo Radha Damodar Radhe Jayo Radha Damodar Radhe Jayo Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Shri Radhe Radha Damodar Radhe Radha Damodar Radhe Jaya Yashoda Damodara Radhe Jaya Yashoda Damodara Yashoda Damodara Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundarate, Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyam Sundarate, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shri Radhe. Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Giri Giri, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Giri Giri, Giri Govardhan, Jai Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Jai Jai Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Nitai Sachi Sundar, Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu yaeva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaeva Cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nandagadi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prema Se Ko Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha, Shiva Siti Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Ki Jai. Let us offer our most respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion to the fallen and conditioned souls. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Beautiful lockdown program again. Thank you, Varshana Mataji. Thank you for staying until the very end. And thank you, Rashmi, for being here. Ben, I hope you're feeling better and okay, and that was uplifting a little bit. Stay well. Thank you, Chayanti Bai, Samir, Sunny Africa, thank you. Greet Africa. And Dharm, thank you for being here and confirming the Ramaharshan Sutta and doing the recording is absolutely great, wonderful service. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you all back on Saturday. And we carry on with Srimad Bhagavatam and Damodarashtakam. Who's going to sing that? We clear that out on Saturday. Who is there? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.